The weaponization of white women's tears has been a point of debate for quite some time among people of color. We know what it means to raise a grievance at work, at school, in social settings, only to be silenced by the apparent distress of the very person responsible for the issue at hand. And, worse still, we are all too familiar with the repercussions of being branded the cause of those tears, responsible for the anguish of women who have the luxury of exploiting a sense of inherent vulnerability that our skin and culture does not afford us. The phenomenon was discussed with renewed vigor this week, when Ruby Hamid's opinion article for The Guardian, How White Women Use Strategic Tears to Avoid Accountability, was published. Immediately, it struck a new chord in the ongoing struggle for true intersectionality in feminist circles. The piece referenced an incident relayed by DJ'd press editor, Hella Ibrahim, at the recent Sydney Writers' Festival. Ibrahim talked about an incident in which, at a panel on diversity, a member of the audience was said to have taken issue with belonging to a group that was referred to as part of the problem, when panelist Wendy Dunn answered a question about harm caused by good intentions. Hamid wrote that Dunn had used the words white people and shit in the same sentence, thus sparking the ire of a self-identified white woman in the audience who interrogated the panelists as to what they think they have to go on by insulting people who want to read their stories. After the event, Ibrahim wrote, I walked out of that panel frustrated, because yet again, a good convo was derailed, white people centered themselves, and a POC panel was told to polish its sick tone to make their message palatable to a white audience. Unsurprisingly, responses and reactions to the article, which included anecdotes of women of color who have had to deal with their fair share of white women's tears, were in the tens of thousands. It was shared more than 43,000 times, quote-tweeted with expressions of vindication, and, ironically, on the other side of the debate, victimization. Quillette magazine editor, Claire Lehman, tweeted about her confusion over the concept of white women's tears, while journalist Andy Seago said that intersectionality was to blame, like others who dismissed the concept of white women's often strategically timed tears as an unwarranted attack on people who had done nothing wrong. Lehman and Go seemed to consider the wider issue at hand, that racial oppression manifests in a multitude of ways, beyond overt acts of physical violence, irrelevant. Instead, under a wave of willful ignorance, they claimed that the real issue was the suggestion that white women shouldn't cry at all. Except, no one argued for that, in the first place. What people were drawing attention to was, as writer Lovie Ajayi put it last month, the fact that these tears are pouring out from the eyes of the one chosen to be the prototype of womanhood, the woman who has been painted as helpless against the whims of the world. The one who gets the most protection in a world that does a shitty job overall of cherishing women. As Novara Media's senior editor, Ash Sarkar, explained with regards to the underlying issues of white women's strategic tears, it's always a hard pill to swallow when you're informed, after years of blissful ignorance, that some of your learned behaviors can seriously hurt others. A few months ago, the same issue cropped up when Cambridge academic Priyam Vadagopal, frustrated with what appeared to be Mary Beard's justification for the behavior of charity workers in the wake of the Oxfam scandal, was confronted with a tearful selfie from Beard in response to the backlash she was experiencing. Immediately, what had been a necessary debate between two contemporaries, about the concepts of civilization and colonialism, quickly descended into a war about whether or not Gopal had been too forceful, too brash, with her criticism of Beard. I remember dealing with similar issues as a child. Being a black girl, and a tall, chubby, outspoken girl, at that, meant that it was rare for me to be seen as anything other than aggressive whenever I happened to find myself in a disagreement with another white person. I, like so many other women, and non-binary people of color, did not have the luxury of inherent, delicate femininity. I saw my parents practice the same level of restraint in everyday life, in customer service environments, with teachers or with other parents who were undoubtedly in the wrong in a variety of circumstances, but rarely had to face up to their responsibilities. Through my lived experience, as young as the age of 10, I knew I couldn't let my tears fall like waterfalls when I confronted other white girls, because they wouldn't ever carry the same value. And my parents told me as such. Similar experiences echoed in the responses of people of color like me, who had to confront the fact that their feelings were often considered secondary if a white woman chose to cry in response to them, were expressed as part of and following the release of The Guardian's article. "I wish the world stopped when I cried," wrote the feminist Griot on Twitter, who also said that almost every black woman she knew has a story about a time in a professional setting in which she attempted to have a talk with a white woman about her behavior. But it's a pill worth taking, especially for anyone who truly believes in working towards truly inclusive and intersectional feminism. At Qbird Love This? Sign up to receive our Today in 3 email, delivering the latest stories straight to your inbox every morning, plus all the pool has to offer. You can manage your email subscription preferences at my profile at any time. It looks like you've already registered, but not yet verified your email address. We've sent the verification email again, please check your inbox. Nearly there. Please check your email and confirm something went wrong with our services. Please try again later.